Hello! This video lesson is on the Pythagorean theorem. Please make sure you have your video note sheet with you. Alright, so you may have been familiar with the Pythagorean theorem, so this might be a review for you, but go ahead and take the notes and then give the examples at the bottom of the page a try. Our Pythagorean theorem states that for a right triangle, which is very important, it must be a right triangle for the Pythagorean theorem to be used. It states that the legs squared will equal, the sum of the legs squared will equal the hypotenuse squared. So if we were to use the values on this particular triangle, we would have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. What's important to remember is that a and b could be switched. I could put b as the base and a as what would look vertical. But c is always opposite the right angle. Even if this triangle gets turned in any direction or rotated around so that it doesn't look exactly like this, we must remember that the hypotenuse, or the c value in our formula, is across from the right triangle. Let's go ahead and try some examples together. You may want to have a calculator with you to do these most accurately. Okay, so for example number 1, find the missing side of the right triangle. The first thing we should do is decide whether or not we're finding a leg, which would be an a or a b value, or if we are finding c, the hypotenuse. In this case, we're finding c, the hypotenuse, which means my work is going to be 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. And I'm going to first start by taking or squaring the numbers on the left-hand side. 36 plus 64 equals c squared. I'm going to add together 36 and 64, which gives me 100, equals c squared. Well, in order to solve this, I'm going to need to take the square root of both sides. When I take the square root of both sides, I actually get plus or minus 10 equals c. But because I'm talking about the length of a triangle side, I do not want the negative, so my answer is c equals positive 10. Let's try example 2. Find the missing side of this right triangle. For this one, I'm actually looking for one of my legs, and I can call that leg A, or I could call that leg B. I'll go ahead and call it A. So I will have a squared plus 5 squared equals 13 squared. So I'll need to start to simplify. A squared plus 25 equals, we'll have to use our calculators to do 13 squared, and we get 169. The next step would be to subtract the 25 to the other side, which gives me a squared equals 144. Just as we did in the first example, we'll take the square root of both sides. I will get a to equal plus or minus 12, but I don't want the negative because we're talking about the side of a triangle. So a, or the missing side, equals 12. Okay, next one. Number 3, the missing side of this right triangle. Now this triangle's been turned a little bit, so again we have to look carefully and decide whether or not we're looking for a hypotenuse or if we're looking for a leg. In this case, the hypotenuse is 17. It's across from the right angle. So we're going to call this one, I'll call it B, since I called the last one in example 2 A. So we will have 15 squared plus B squared equals 17 squared. 15 squared is 225 plus b squared equals, and then 17 squared is 289. So I'm going to subtract the 225 to the other side, and we get b squared equals 64. We'll take the square root of both sides, and b equals plus or minus 8. Of course, I don't want the negative one, so the missing side is 8. Okay, in our next example, find the missing side of this right triangle. Well, I don't have anything across from the right angle, which means that I'm looking for the hypotenuse, or C. So these two values, the 4.5 and the 6, represent the legs. So 4.5 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. So go ahead and use your calculators and do 4.5 squared is 20.25 plus 36 equals c squared. And we'll need to add those two values together to give me 56.25 equals c squared. And then I'm left to take the square root of that answer. Surprisingly, it comes out to a nice number. When I take the square root of 56.25, I get c to equal positive and negative 7.5. But of course I don't want the negative, so I have c equals 7.5. Very nice job.